Guys, I need your help. I need your input. I need your advice. And I need to know whether this is something that you guys suffer from. Whether you're still gambling now, whether you're in recovery, for a week, a month, whether you're in recovery for the long haul. Is this a problem that you still experience? Because certainly, however long down the line, it's still something that, I really, really struggle to shake off. And obviously, a lot of the time, I spend my videos giving you advice, and hopefully this time you can help me with some. Until then, I hope you're keeping safe. Hope you keep insane. Hope all is well in your world. I'm back. I'm trying to make a few more videos. But this is one that's sort of been playing on my mind a little bit, really. Anyone who's been with the channel knows my videos normally follow a very similar format. Phil talks about his experiences with gambling. Phil talks about his recovery and what he's learned, what worked, what didn't work, and then tries to offer advice, which may resonate with some and may not resonate with others. But this is slightly different because this is something I've never really managed to make peace with. And that is the feelings of losing a gamble, even if you haven't gambled. Let me try and sort of explain various scenarios as to when, I experience this feeling. Now, I follow a football team, a very low-ranking Premier League team who are very likely to go down this season. And whenever they play a match, for some reason, the gambling part of my brain, which is still buried back there somewhere, wants me to go and look at the odds. And then I end up falling down a rabbit hole of looking at other odds of different games and thinking about bets that I would place, if I was to go and place a bet. I don't. And then if that result comes in, or if I watch the results and the ones that I probably would have thought were good value come in, I feel like I've lost. I've not financially lost anything because the bet was never down. But it feels like a loss because it feels like it could have been a potential win. Now, just that example already goes to show a little bit of the problem here, and this video is likely to be a little bit rambly. Maybe I won't make a huge amount of sense to you all, but I think if this is something you suffer from, then you're likely to understand a little bit. It's the same as if I'm sitting in the pub, for example, and I watch someone play on one of the fruit machines and they get a quick win, a quick jackpot, something like that. There is a part of my brain that will not distance itself from the fact that that could have been me. I could have got that win had I only played that machine. Now, walking into that pub, I never had any intentions of playing the machine. There was no space in this world where I would choose, of sober mind, to do that. I've walked in without any cash because I still do that specifically to avoid any potential temptation of gambling. However, should someone come in and randomly win on a machine, there is part of my brain that will not shake off the fact that I could have got that win had I just done exactly what they just did. And there are tons and tons of examples for this. Seeing, like I say, a good price, what you perceive to be a good price in maybe in a bookie's window or something, and thinking, yes, if I bet on that, I would have won. All these potential times where you feel like you've actually lost when realistically you've never staked a penny of real money. Does anyone else do this? And I don't know what the solution is. Now, the solution, of course, to the betting thing is just to literally not look at any football odds. And that is a personal failing of mine because it is something that I still do. And I don't know why I do it. I can only presume there is a buried part of my subconscious that makes me want to look at those in case I can identify value or feel like I can, get some value over and above the bookies. But even if I go on there with no intention of betting, firstly, why do I do it? And secondly, why do I still feel a loss when I know in my heart of hearts that there was never a chance I was going to put that bet down? Why do I still, and I'm going to be honest because I'm pretty sure if I feel like this others will, why do I always want to see people lose when I watch other people gambling from a distance? Why do I not want to see people win? I lost so much of my life and my money to machines, online casinos, bookies, the whole lot of it. Why would I not want to see people who are possibly in a similar situation to my own, possibly in a better situation than I was in, but why would I not want to see these people take money, at least in the short term, from these gambling companies? Why would I rather see them lose? And I can only put that down to the fact that subconsciously I see other people's wins as wins that could have been mine. Or maybe historically, watching other people win makes me feel like the value is being taken out from my potential wins, even if those potential wins, when I'm not gambling, will never be realised. So yes, one thing I need to work upon, particularly with myself, is not to look at odds. Okay, just because, you know, Ipswich Town are playing Man City and I want to see just how terribly the bookies are rating Ipswich at the moment, don't look at the odds. Because whether or not you have any intention of betting on Ipswich Town, and I think that would be a terrible idea in almost every circumstance, apart from last night, as it happens, you know, you might just see other odds which you feel are great value. And then not only is it a temptation, a lure to bring you back into gambling, it's also, like say, setting you up for that feeling of potential loss should the result that you thought was great value eventually ultimately come in. Okay, and in terms of watching other people win money, which you perceive could have been yours if only you weren't on the wagon, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe when you do witness other people gamble, you think, yes, that win, that money, that could have been mine. Had I not put myself on this pedestal, had I not put myself on the wagon, had I not made that decision to get into and stay in recovery. Now, we all know that recovery is the best way forward. It is, for many of us, dare I say, the only way forward if we are to live something approaching a normal life. However, the gambling part of our brain is very, very devious, and it will make situations like that seem like a negative result, because that way we can justify, well, actually, you know, if these people around us are winning, if I can actually identify good value odds at the bookmakers, if I can just have that tenner in that machine that that other person did to win the 100, if I can just do that and I can keep it at that, then I will be better off financially. I can indulge and scratch this itch, which might be nagging away at me, and everything will be fine. Well, we know for a fact that all the devious ways in which the gambling demons work are purely a way to leave that door that might be slightly ajar and fling it wide open and put us back to the place we started from, and maybe even a worse situation, because let's face it, as I mentioned in the previous video, every time you lapse, every time you relapse, the addiction seems to get hold of you more and more. The losses get bigger, the stakes get bigger, and the risk that you're taking with your life and the life of those people around you gets bigger. Has anyone else experienced this? Have you found any ways in which you can maybe block out these thoughts? Like I say, there are practical steps that I should be taking myself in order to steer away from these feelings of loss, but also putting myself in harm's way by exposing myself to the risk of gambling. We are all fallible, and whilst I like to give advice based on my experience, I know that I am far from perfect. So yeah, who else experiences this? And is there any advice you can give to sort of distance yourself mentally from gambling habits of old, shall we say? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you to everyone for your continued support on this and over on my other channel as well. So I appreciate you all, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Stay safe and stay sane, everyone.